All right, so I'm in the process of putting on my flat face couplers on my diverter valve here, because I've got the hoses on the hydraulic brush cutter that runs on the end of the excavator here. So I got the flat face coupler, they're 1/2 inch on there. So basically, I didn't show you this because yeah, it was a struggle to get them off. Pop out the cap, I had a little O-ring on there. I wasn't gonna, one of them I actually stripped out, had to use a pipe wrench on it to get it off, because I was just using these adjustable wrenches, and those don't generally bite as well as you like them to. So, you know, a lot of guys will use Teflon tape, and I try not to use Teflon tape, particularly on hydraulic connections, especially on something like this, because I don't want a piece of, I'm not a plumber, so I'm not going to risk me not putting the Teflon tape on just so, and it getting in the system and being on this side of the filter, get in there and clog up an orifice or something and cause issues for the hydraulic system and cost me a lot of money to fix. So rather than risk that, I just got the pipe dope, and I'll throw that and put that on the threads, and not really going to be able to show you too much of that. I might can show you some, but I'm doing it one-handed here, so it's kind of tough. But went to Northern Tool today and finally found somebody that had what I was looking for. I needed 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch. So what I'll do is just take the pipe dope and run it around the threads. And oh, by the way, people at Home Depot don't know what pipe dope is. It's thread sealant, but you know, I was calling it pipe dope, and the guy's like, "What?" I'm like, "Pipe dope. Come on, everybody knows what pipe dope is." But apparently, you need to use thread sealant if you want to have somebody else know what you're talking about. But not coming in very clear. So I got a 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch. I'll run that thread in there and then put on the coupler, and then we'll be ready to hook it up. I've already got my pins in the brush cutter for the quick connect that Yanmar put standard on their stuff. Love it, man. I would not want to use a machine without that. It makes switching buckets so easy. If I use my safety pin, then I don't have to get out of the excavator. But you know, if I'm working with somebody in the trench or something like that, then I make sure I put the safety pin in, because I don't want that thing rolling off and accidentally swinging and hitting them or something. So just to be safe when I'm working around other people. But when I'm just switching out buckets on my own, I won't even put the safety pin back in. I'll just switch out, grab my grading bucket, smooth it and grade and do whatever I need to with that, and get back on my digging bucket and go from there. So anyway, so I'll just a couple minutes and I'll kind of show you maybe as I'm going, maybe step by step, so you can see, and then you can do this yourself instead of paying the dealership to put them on for you. So got a good deal. I mean, I thought it was a good deal on these couplers. For like $50 for the couplers, the flat face couplers, for both sides. And then the brush cutter came already plumbed up for it on the hoses. So I'll just be able to snap those hoses on, turn on the valve here. So then the way this diverter works, you just turn it, you can only turn it one way. So it's got two little grooves. There's one here, and there's a little pin you can see right there, my end of my finger. That little pin, I'm gonna take this, let it auto. That little pin right there, and there's a little groove, and you just twist it until it hits that pin. So I'll turn this one clockwise till this hits that pin, and then the hydraulics will flow this way and then through to the hoses on the excavator. Now I'm on the brush cutter. Now over here, the Yanmar, they have a PTO, and it's this bolt right here. And so in the current position, it's in dual operation. So using that for the thumb, you got open and close. And then in this configuration, you use that for jackhammers, the single option. You use that for like hydraulic hammers, or in this case, a brush cutter. And you'll put it in that mode. And then there's a little button on the controller that allows you to kind of, you hit the, engage the PTO, engage the hydraulics from the joystick, and then hit the button and it'll hold it in place. But, you know, they say don't run it for more than a minute at a time straight, you know, or else you'll overheat stuff. So, but typically, honestly, I found that you run it about a minute or less, and you've already cleared all the area that you can reach with your boom and your arm out, and you're reaching out there, and really, it's at that point you just kill the PTO, and then you move forward a little bit, and then you start to work the new area. But all right, I'll try to get you a little bit of footage here of what I'm doing. Yeah, can you see what I'm doing here? And just start tightening, and then I tighten it as much as I can, and then once I get it to as tight as I'm gonna get it, then I'll wipe away excess around the threads. Get my finger out of the way there. You can use threads, the pipe tape, the little tape sealant, you can use that on the threads. I'm just, on stuff like this, like I said, I'm not a plumber, so I don't trust myself to professionally apply it as well as it should be. Get a little bit of butt on that. Here we go. It ain't going nowhere. Wipe off the excess. And yeah, I'm using the slow dry. There's no need for me to try to rush through this or anything, so I got the slow dry stuff. And get that off my wrench. All right, that's easy enough. I mean, you don't want this stuff caked on there. You want it to be liberally applied, and you want to make sure you got all the threads. And I usually clean up the ends there, make sure I got it off the edge. I'm not gonna be able to open this bag. Sorry about that. All right. Let's set the phone down. Look at my leg. Got the little plastic piece in the middle. And we just start to wind that on there. And I always turn it a little bit counterclockwise first, just because that's just what I've always done to start threading, so I don't end up cross threading it. That's just always been my way of starting the threading on that. Use my other hand so I can get a little bit more butt on it. Good thing about tightening this, it's also tightening the other two while I'm going. All right. Clean it up. There we go. Put the cap back on there. You know, you get a whole new respect for these guys that do their videos on YouTube when you start doing it, and you realize it's not as easy as they make it look. You know, those guys are on here making it look easy, and cool, the caps almost match the Yanmar. Yay. Not that anybody cares, but that's it. Got the couplers on there. We'll let that stuff set up, and for the time, the prescribed time on the can, and I got to go back and get bolts for the pins. I bought 3-inch, and I probably needed 3.5 to 4-inch, so I'll put those on. It's the little bolts that go in to the pin like that. So, oh, that was loose. Might be good to tighten that down. But I bought some of the red lead Loctite, and I'll put that on there so they won't vibrate loose. And then the pins are actually too long. I'll have to cut them. That was frustrating, but that's it for now. So that's the simple, easy little installation you can do yourself, and not have to pay the dealer to do it, or somebody else to do it, mechanic to do it for you. And so after that sets up, we'll crank it up and turn the valves on, and see if it holds up without leaking.